I want to speak tonight from the subject, get up. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor to get up.
Get up.
I'm an avid fan,
I said don't move.
observer of wildlife documentaries. My family knows that if ever a wildlife documentary comes along, whether the lions and the hyenas are fighting and the wildebeest are running, and zebras are running, and the snakes are slipping, and all is going on, they know I've got charge of the television. And I just take that automatic device and I set it on a wildlife documentary. The vast variety of life on Earth, in the waters, in the air, keeps me in constant, literal amazement. I've even got a wide collection of wildlife videos. And looking at them is one of the ways that I spend my leisure time. I'm just amazed by the infinite variety of God's creation. But there's one animal that enthralls me. It's called the African wildebeest, or the wild ox. One of the most numerous of animals on the continent of Africa. The nearest I can come to describing the wildebeest is to say that they resemble a cross between a horse and a cow. Their migrations are extremely impressive and far-reaching, and nothing can stop the herds of wildebeest as they sweep across the African plains toward their destination. Now, young wildebeest are born in a very dynamic, unpredictable circumstance. For very soon after they're born, they've got to get up on their feet and start moving. Now, this is the case because the herd is constantly on the move, and the herd will not delay its movement just because a young wildebeest has been born. A young wildebeest has to get on its feet right away and keep up with the herd. Not only must they get up because they've got to keep up with the herd, there are hyenas and lions and other ravenous beasts that follow the herds. And their primary prey are young wildebeest. So unless they get up quickly after being born and learn how to run, they will not survive. Unless they get up, they cannot reach that part of their mother's body from which they obtain nourishment. Unless they get up, insects and disease will invade their bodies from the ground, making them sick and even killing them. So it's very important that they get up. And the act of getting up is a great struggle for the young wildebeest. Seconds after their brutal birth, they're trying to get their long, thin, weak legs to support their first attempt to get up and walk. The responsibility and the initiative is on the young wildebeest alone. Their mothers cannot lift them up. They cannot carry them. They cannot give them power or strength. And so the young wildebeest has to have the will and the strength within them to get up and walk. So you see them struggling, trying to stand, wobbling, falling back, struggling again, back on their feet and keeping on in the struggle until they're able to stand and walk. And as soon as they're able to stand and walk, their mothers immediately lead them away from the place of their birth, because wild beasts would be attracted by their keen sense of smell and would be drawn to their birthplaces. And so everything is dependent on getting up. We look at somebody and tell them everything is dependent on getting up. For us human beings, the process takes much longer. But it's just as necessary that we get up and walk at a certain stage of our lives as it is for them to get up and walk. The earlier we do this, the more positive our situation will be. Physically, those who do not walk are greatly handicapped and disabled. Their options are greatly limited, and sometimes the inability to walk is a result of a disability or a birth defect. And other times, it's a result of an accident or a violent attack or a disease. And in some cases, it's the result of a choice or the result of a habit. But whatever the cause, the result is that they are crippled. Many people are crippled by falls. And it's one thing to fall. It's another thing to fall and not be able to get back up again. So there are those who are physically crippled, but there are also those who are economically crippled. There are those who are emotionally crippled. Child abuse, spousal abuse, the cruelty and the deceptiveness of people have left many people devastatingly wounded. The sharp, critical tongues of people can wound you and make you fall. I said the sharp, critical tongues of people can wound you and make you fall. When people betray you and lie on you, that can make you fall. When you try and fail and there seems to be no possibility of success, that can make you almost lie down and give up. So it's possible to be emotionally crippled. It's possible to be relationally crippled. The avalanche of marital failure is crashing down on us. The family, as it has been known, is being devastated and destroyed. Men are marrying men, and women are marrying women, and children are experiencing devastation, and husbands and wives are finding themselves at war, and parents and children seem to be at odds, and long-time friends are becoming enemies. You've got to know we are relationally crippled. Then there are people who are crippled spiritually. If they could get up and walk, they would not know in what direction they would need to go. Many who have known God are now not so sure about God. And you know, life kind of conspires to separate us from the enemy of our souls. We live in Him. We move in Him. We have our strength in Him. Our spirits are dying because they need the Spirit of God to sustain them. So there are many people who are crippled spiritually and they cannot get up. In the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 5, we find the following